Hi there, this is Tracey De Wet from traceydevet.com and tdwhypnotherapy.co.uk. So in this short video, I'd like to just discuss why anybody would want to book a strategy call and find out more about what I do. I found out more about what your problem, issue, or struggle is, and we see if we're a good fit for therapy and whether I can actually help you or not. So why would you even want to book this call? Unfortunately, in modern life, the things that scare us are normally not physical. They are environmental, they could be, but they're more likely to be something that we've thought of in our mind. And the mechanism by which these responses are triggered is all the same, even though the scenarios change. So the part of your brain that runs on subconscious programs does not know the difference between the amount of fear that you should be feeling in response. And this could be standing up and talking to people, giving a meeting at work, having to explain something to your boss, having a difficult client, or an argument with a colleague, something like that. It's more likely to be something like that that causes the stress than any physical danger. And what happens is the same fight or flight response is triggered. Body dumps all these chemicals ready to help you make a quick getaway or put up a strong fight or whatever to keep you safe. If this happens once or twice in a week or a month or whatever, your system would have the chance to reprocess these chemicals and absorb them back into the body. But when this happens on a long-term sustained basis, for instance, if you've got a stressful job, every morning that you walk in and you see your workload or something didn't happen right yesterday, it's going to trigger that response. And eventually your system just gets overwhelmed and it becomes very difficult to switch it off. And anybody who's suffered with long-term anxiety will know exactly what I mean, that physical shaking, that pit of the stomach dread, that body trembling, you have to visit the bathroom more often, you're sweaty, you're going hot and cold. Those are real symptoms. And when it becomes generalized anxiety, it is extremely difficult to switch them off. Just thinking about it is not going to do it. When we hit the limit of our resources in that way, there is very little that we can do about it ourselves. And that's where I come in, or somebody like me who deals with stress and anxiety. Because at some point in your past, your subconscious mind has made a link between the trigger and the response. And it normally gets laid down early in life in response to learning about your environment and something that you've learned possibly the hard way or the scary way, anything to do with fear and avoidance and rejection. And this forms the root for the anxiety later on. So if your system is always functioning with a certain amount of low-level anxiety, you might not even realize that it's happening. You might just think, well, I'm a bit of an overthinker. Perhaps you have over-the-top tendencies like OCD. Doesn't have to even be full-blown OCD, but maybe you're a perfectionist. That kind of person tends to be extremely successful and driven as well. So it normally happens to executives, business people, business owners, stars of the stage and that. And it becomes really debilitating and really shocking to somebody like that, that in the rest of their world, they're in control, they've done really well, they're driven, they're able to push forward. But this underlying anxiety eventually, with too much external stress, tips over into full-blown anxiety and possibly even a long-term anxiety disorder. The sooner you get help, the better. I can't stress that enough. Please do not leave it. And if you're watching this because you're in that situation already, it's time to get some help right now, because what you've tried simply hasn't worked. I get people telling me they've read every self-help book they could get their hands on. They've been to see gurus when they visited from overseas. They felt fantastic for like half an hour a day, maybe even a week. Perhaps you've even done those self-help exercises up to a month, but it still does not take away the root cause. And that's what we need to deal with when we're working with anxiety. So if you were thinking about booking a strategy call with me, go ahead and do that now. You can find my Calendly link. You can find my website, www.tdw-hypnotherapy.co.uk or tracydewet.com as it's written up there, and book that call with me. I'll be asking you specific questions. They don't have to be particularly detailed. So if it is an extremely traumatic experience that this is all linked to, you don't have to go into all the nitty-gritty. We don't need it in hypnotherapy. It's one of the therapies where the therapist really does not need to know all the details, because it doesn't help me to help you. I need to know some of it, but I certainly don't need to know all of it. And people get surprised all the time when they're under hypnosis as these things come up and they realize that things are connected that they never suspected or that they've completely forgotten about. All I'm trying to find out in this discovery call is what the issue is. Is it something I feel I can help with? And do I feel that if we work together, we're going to get a good outcome? I'm very upfront about this. I'm very honest about that. If I can't help you, I'll be the first one to say, I'm not sure about this. The other great thing about the discovery call is that you can ask me questions as well. What would you like to know about hypnosis and hypnotherapy and the other techniques that I use? So if you haven't already booked that call, book it now. There's no time like the present. And if you have booked that call, I'm really, really excited and looking forward to speaking with you. Have a great day or a great evening, as the case may be. Tracy from tracydewet.com.